I don't quite understand what the end game here is on the part of Harry and Meghan. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
Christopher, we were just chatting that there's so much to chat about this week. And of course, everybody's talking about this trailer for the documentary for Harry and Meghan. I mean, what was your initial reaction when you saw it?
Shock. The timing. I mean, for them for the Sussexes to put this out at this one moment when William and Kate are headed for the U.S. and arrive in the U.S. I thought the tone of it was obviously provocative, in your face, kind of. There was a whole "come and get me" attitude about it, and there were a couple of phrases that really got me. One of them was, with so much. She says at one point, with so much at stake. What? What's at stake, Meghan? Yeah, the monarchy may feel something's at stake because they're being shaken by all this, but. So we'll have to find out when we view it.
They gave so much away in these trailers. I think just little hints here and there. One of them that really struck me was that Harry talks about how the royal family leaks stories to the press. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, they do. And I mean, it's the machinery of the monarchy. It's the people that are the spinners that will operate in each of the different palaces and the advisors and whatnot. So they're all busy out there trying to sell their product. In one case, it's the king. In the other case, it's the Prince of Wales and so on. But I think he's conflating the pressures that are brought up by the press and pursuit by the press. They're just insatiable. Britain's tabloid press, we all know that, and the royal family. We want to see where it crosses over. I don't quite get these accusations of racism within the royal family. Yes, there's an occasional gaffe like the one we saw from Lady Susan Huffy this week, but major instances really are on the part of the British tabloid press, they were pretty rough. And the notion, by the way, that she's been pursued like Diana. I have to agree with Piers Morgan on this point, and that is that there's no comparison. The comparison might be to Kate. I think Kate Middleton, for those 10 years, was pursued by the press, and she had no protection, really. She was not entitled to any protection for much of that time. And I think she just handled it with tremendous grace. And I don't see why, Meghan couldn't have really borrowed a page from that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's hard to ignore what is going on. The royal family, I'm sure that they're, seeing the headlines. They may or may not have watched this trailer. I mean, how do you think that they feel about this? I mean, we see certain photos that they use in these trailers too of, the Commonwealth Service, of Kate over headlines about princesses in trouble and things like that. So, I mean, how do you think the royal family feels about this?
Oh my God, they're horrified, and I think they're just all holding their breaths and waiting for the other shoe to drop. Well, there are two shoes that are going to drop, because there's part one is tonight, and then the other shoe's dropping next week. I just think, again, the sense of betrayal is shifted over now to genuine combat mode, because obviously this is a war, between the two. If there was any idea, and by the two camps, the Sussexes and the royal family, I don't quite understand what the end game here is on the part of Harry and Meghan. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Mm-hmm. But Charles, he's been handed this horrible problem. It's the kind of thing that the Queen would have tried to, just ignore for as long as she possibly could. But he's not that kind of person. I don't think he can. I mean, with the coronation coming up, everyone's always asking, are they going to be invited to the coronation? Are they going to attend the coronation, given all the German drang going on? So that's another question.
Do you think people are going to, be on Meghan and Harry's side? Like, are they going to sympathize with them, or what do you think the public feeling is towards them?
Well, I think they have a huge fan base. Let's put it that way. And by all accounts, Meghan is fundamentally a very nice person. But I think that a lot of the people who sympathize with the Sussexes, and I've talked to a number of them who really are changing their minds about this, because it is so obvious that there is bitterness and anger there being directed at people. I think misdirected to a large extent at William and Kate, Charles, and so I think they're losing a lot of fans. They certainly did in England. I mean, their popularity there has plummeted a long time ago when they jumped ship, as it were. I mean, the idea of exchanging this, and I've said this in the past, this vaunted position in one of the greatest institutions in the history of the world, turning your back on it to become an influencer, basically. I don't know, but does Meghan want to be the next Oprah Winfrey? I don't know. It's possible. That's what she's aiming for, certainly. But that's, it just seems like an odd choice to make.
Yeah. You said before, the Queen would probably try to ignore this for as long as possible, but Charles might not. Do you expect, we don't know what's going to be said, but do you expect them to respond to this? Oh,
yes. I think there will be muted responses to whatever specifics are in there. But we have to wait and see what the accusations are, what the tone. There is that overall thing that William dealt with. He had nightmares about how Kate was being pursued by the press. And yes, he thought, would she end up the way his mother ended up? Totally understandable. And there was anger on William's part at the time. Harry faced similar problems. It's just that he's dealt with it in such an unusual way, especially in his relationship with his father, who has extended olive branch after olive branch to try and get him back into the fold in some, manner. I think he's more inclined to be less rigid about the rule. The Queen said, you're either a full-time royal or you're out. I think an accommodation could be made by Charles. I think he would have been willing to do that. But it's been pretty obvious that the Sussexes really aren't interested in that.
After this documentary, after, the book comes out and this docu-series, do you think that they're going to have any sort of relationship between, the Sussexes and the royal family, or are they kind of, letting that ship sail?
I think that ship has sailed. One looks at, people always look at the grandchildren. Oh, well, but Archie and Lily, they really have not paid a whole heck of a lot of attention to Archie and Lily. And there hasn't been a real huge effort to get them, to bring the two sides together. The comparisons, they're always making these comparisons with Wallis Simpson, the situation there where the forced abdication of Edward VIII. But Wallis Simpson at the last minute tried to back out. She did not want to bring down the monarchy. I'm not seeing that here. I'm seeing it. I think there's some intent there to, let's just say the result is that it's obviously very, very damaging and extremely embarrassing to Charles and the whole royal family. What's going on and what's probably going on, and revealed not only in this, but we've got the book coming out in January. Harry's book.
Right. You said before, I think that this is a lot of people's question is, what do they hope to gain by all this? Like, what do you think their end game is? Do they want to bring down the monarchy? Are they just looking for a paycheck? What are they trying to gain from all of this?
Well, I think there's always a financial component in all of this, and people don't realize the degree to which money is pursued by the royal family. Charles is famous for it because the rationale is you're funding all these charities and your causes and all that sort of thing. But and I'm sure that's the rationale on the part of Harry and Meghan. They're philanthropists after all, and influencers and people who are molding and shaping public opinion. And I think that's the key. I think they want some, if not a retribution, then some feeling of justice having been done. And they want the public to understand their side of the story. But of course, it does reap financial benefits to continue to do this. Mm-hmm. So it's a little of everything there, I think, in the mix. But again, the feeling of betrayal on Charles's part just kills me, because he did go so far out to embrace Meghan in the beginning, and again, the Doria Raglan thing is a perfect example. Charles walked Meghan down the aisle when her father wouldn't do it. How close can you get there? And all of a sudden, he's in a sense having someone spit in his eye. So it's very hurtful for him, I think, and confusing and bewildering for him. He also wonders, like the rest of us, not only what's in the documentaries and what's in the book, but why and what the ultimate goal is.
For more news content and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.